Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about modding the Celica, whether it's for looks or actual performance mods. First I'm going to show you the mods that I have on my car, and then we're going to go over just all the mods that I know and maybe plan on doing someday if I get a nicer looking Celica. So starting with the first mod, I got this Trd Badge. I just thought it looked pretty cool. Got it off eBay for like $1. So just for looks, I think it looks awesome though, and people think you're fast. The next mod, this counts as aerodynamics, as well as maybe a little weight reduction, but you can get a new antenna. Originally, Toyota Celicas, they come with this long silver, buggy looking antenna that's like 2 feet tall. I don't like the way it looks. Makes it look like some sort of off-roading vehicle. So what I did is you can get these on eBay or Amazon for like $4. It's just a TRD, even though it's not authentic or OEM, and you can just screw that right into its place. You can also I think do a Honda S2000 one, and it's about the same size. It's black and it would just plug right in. Maybe you'd need a bolt adapter, but that's another mod I have. And the next mod I have is the wheels. The car came with the wheels. They're not even lightweight either. They're, I think, also 22 pounds, just like the stock ones that this car should have. They're 17 inches. The fitment, I don't know, I don't really care about fitment. This is my daily. It's just like that. So if you were wondering, I don't know what the stock rim size is, but this one's silver because I slid it into a curb and had to get a new lower control arm, and the rim was kind of totaled. But the rest of them are just rattle can black, and it really doesn't look too bad in my opinion. And to complement the black, another mod that could go with it is tinted windows. The car also came tinted. I think these are like 30%, so I really don't know. And then in the back, legally in Utah you can do 5%, but I think this is also like 30%. I hate how bright it is in there. My old car was blacked out as dark as you can go in the back. For Utah's 5%, and then I think up front it's 35%, and so maybe I'll do that someday, as well as maybe tint the banner. Some windshields, this isn't an OEM windshield because it got shattered, but usually there's a line to where you can tint it, just a small black line, and you can ask the tint shop to lay a piece of tint in that direction. My next mod is my sound system. I redid the head unit, did a stereo adapter, as well as redid all 6 speakers in the car. As you can see, there's a speaker here, there's one here, and in the rear, we have these ones back here. Might just remove them for weight reduction. Then the next mod I have is a weighted shift knob. The OEM one, it's like rubber and plastic, doesn't weigh anything, but this one, I don't remember how much it weighs. It's like more than a few ounces or something, but when you do shift it, it just adds more weight, so you can really kind of throw it around, and it just makes the car a lot more enjoyable. And when I was shifting, if you didn't already notice, I also have a short throw shifter. I got it off wish.com, $8. It's the same one you find on eBay for like $50. People try to overcharge you for it. It comes with literally 4 screws, 4 little stand-ups, but the shifts are a lot shorter. Too bad I don't have anything to measure it. Here's neutral. It's a little stiff. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, then reverse. But this is probably by far my favorite mod. I can shift pretty quick. Then coming to the rear, the next mod is weight reduction. You can really get crazy with the Celicas. You can remove the back seats, the back seat rests, you can move spare tire, the jacks, the plastic trim, all of this. You can get carbon fiber hatches, carbon fiber hoods, although the hatch is $500 and the hoods are about $700 on eBay, and that's used condition. But I think I've stripped over probably 100 pounds out of here. So that's another mod you can do to the Celica. The nice one about it is it's free as well. And along with the weight reduction, as you can see, there's like this plastic goop stuff. It doesn't come off easily. I've seen one guy use like dry ice and he makes it really cold and pries it off, but I believe this is the sound detonation material, so it makes it so your car is less loud and you don't have to hear your exhaust. But you can remove that as well. That's probably pretty heavy stuff, and it's actually pretty thick. And then the next mod I have, it's the DNA catback exhaust. My car burns a lot of oil, so that's obviously not good. But as you can see, it's just a catback exhaust. It starts here, goes back, connects to the muffler that it came with. Although the muffler really doesn't have any padding, then it just bolts onto the stock catback system right there. So other mods for this car that I don't have, but potential mods, obviously you can get the Trd Action Package, what that includes is that big tall spoiler that everyone likes. It comes with these trim pieces where to the rear, mine are miscolored, but to the rear it just gets a little bit wavy. It adds to the car. I don't mind these flat ones actually. I think they look better. Maybe I'll spray paint them black just to complement the black wheels and the dark tints if I ever do that. And then also with the Action Package, you'd get a different front bumper. This is what mine looks like. A lot of people are missing this like bottom piece. I actually found that at a junkyard for 10 bucks. I think it makes the car look 10 times better, maybe a little bit meaner too, and I like the way it looks. Then for the headlights, you can get aftermarket headlights and taillights on eBay. Honestly, I think a lot of them are kind of tacky. Some of them look good. I know this is a 2002 Toyota Celica GT. On the 03 GT and GTS, they have like a lot cool different headlights, so those do look cooler. I probably won't ever do the swap. I'll probably just end up buying a brand new car before I do that. And one thing you can do also, instead of the yellow halogen bulbs that these come with, you could always replace those with like LEDs of a different color, if it's legal in your state. Probably not. Or just LEDs are better in general. They help with visibility and use less power. Another mod coming to the rear, and no, it's not painting your drum brakes red or your calipers, although I guess we could count that, is you can actually do rear brake rotors on the rear. So a GT model usually comes with drum brakes just because they're kind of slow, but the GTS, it has disc brakes all around. So you can probably buy a kit online and do that whole conversion yourself. But honestly, if you're gonna go that far and too crazy with the mods, maybe you should just buy the car that you want originally. All right, and coming under the hood, you could easily get a lightweight race battery. Stock batteries, obviously they're super heavy, but if you're going to be daily driving it, probably don't do that because they don't always have a lot of cranking amps, the racing batteries. Because the smaller batteries, obviously they're going to have less charge in milliamp hours. Then you'll probably be shocked that I haven't done it, but that's a cold air intake. The reason I haven't is because the one I want is kind of expensive. It's not a short ram intake, it's just a small U shape, but it's the one that actually kind of comes down here to where the fog light is and sucks in cold air. But honestly, I've read that cold air intakes, they can make you lose a little bit of power. So to counteract that, I'm honestly going to get a K&N drop-in filter. It's just a stock rectangle air filter. You just open it up, drop it in, and it gives you more airflow, and they're even reusable. You just have to oil them each time. And as you'll notice, the car came like this, missing all the engine plastics for the most part, but don't really care, just more weight reduction. And when you pop the hood to work on it, you don't have to remove them because they're kind of annoying. So there you go. Then coming over here to the Serpentine Belt, you'll notice mine looks a little bit different. That's because I did a full AC delete for the most part. I still have my defrosters and like my heater, but I removed the AC compressor, the lines, got a shorter serpentine belt, as well as remove the AC condenser, which blocks your radiator. So the engine stays nice and cool, hopefully, and lightweight. And if you want to get crazy with the AC system, I still need to remove these lines, just haven't had time. And you can even remove the blower motor under the dash, as well as all the AC controls in the dash. You can really get crazy and lose a lot of weight, but that requires pulling the whole dashboard of the Celica, which I've never done. It's probably not too difficult, but this is a daily driver car as well. And as I mentioned earlier, you can always get a carbon fiber hood scoop. I see a lot of people replace plastic pieces with carbon fiber, but carbon fiber is for weight reduction, so you're supposed to do metal pieces, so it's just kind of tacky in my opinion. But I mean, it looks good, don't get me wrong, but for the price that you're probably paying, I don't think it's always worth it. And coming down to the suspension, I'm still on stock height. Like I said, I do have 17-inch rims, so that might be different than what's stock on this car. But you can get coil overs. I don't know the brand names or which ones, but I bet you could pick up a good pair for anywhere from $400 to $600. And I have seen Celicas lowered, they look really good. But once again, daily driver, and I don't want to be scraping everywhere. All right, and another mod is a plastic windshield. If you look up Toyota Celica Lexan glass or plastic, you can get the full, I think it's at least the side windows, the rear windows, and the rear hatch window, and you can replace it with this plastic stuff. Obviously glass is pretty heavy, And the reason you don't want to do that if that's going to be your daily car is because this glass is designed when you nick it with like even just a small hit, it shatters into a million dull pieces. So that way in an accident, you're not going to get all cut up. Whereas the Lexan glass, I think it would kind of peel out in long plastic shards. So if you're going to get in an accident, not the greatest idea. But I mean, it wouldn't hurt to like do these windows and stuff. But I don't know about that, and I think it's like a $600 kit. You have to pay in euros, and you'd have to import it to the US for the only company that I found. And one last mod, if you have a Toyota Celica GTS that's OEM, you want to change out your oil pan. What I mean by this is the slow models or the GT model, it comes with a baffled oil pan, and what that does is a little wall in the oil pan. So when you're cornering or accelerating fast, that oil, it's not going to slosh up the sides of your oil pan and starve your oil pump. And so if you go to a junkyard, you can get a GT oil pan and put it on your GTS. It's more reliable that way. It's kind of weird because the 2ZZ, it doesn't have that baffle. The 1ZZ does have that baffle. So it's almost like they did the engineering backwards. Obviously this engine, the 1ZZ FE, was designed by Toyota, or the 2ZZ was part of Yamaha, and so I don't know why. But you could also go on 1AAuto.com. For $49 you can get a brand new oil pan that's an OEM replacement with that baffle in there, so that'll save you on the cornering and you're not going to blow your engine. And then another mod, obviously you can get racing seats. These seats that come stock, I'm pretty sure they're already pretty light, and the reason I think that, just the way they look, I like them and they're comfortable. But see how the controls for them aren't electric, so you don't have all those motors and wires under the seat. It just makes the seat a lot lighter. So these are probably pretty light stock. We could always get some race seats and things like that that could be even lighter. And another thing with the transmission, this is a 5-speed manual, so you can always get a lightweight flywheel, which I really wish I would have done, because when I got my flywheel done last year, I just went with a stock one. Because it was the same price to resurface it as to just buy a new one. So I was like, might as well just buy a new one. I don't think it'll hurt anything. As well as clutches, you can get like stage 1, 2, 3, etc. clutches. Obviously, if you're getting different clutches, they're not going to be as easy to daily drive, as well as some clutches you could potentially blow your transmission. I'm not an expert on it or anything, but now that you have a better clutch that can send more of the engine force to the transmission, so when you're shifting at higher RPMs, slamming that together, more of that force is transferring from the engine flywheel through the clutch directly through the transmission. So you could potentially, I don't know which part of the transmission, but do your research before that, especially like turboed cars. You hear someone turbo their engine and their tranny blows. That's because they didn't do their math, and usually you have to beef up your transmission some way or get a different one. And then the last mod I'd like to talk about is a direct engine swap. So this is the 1ZZ, it's the slow model, just the GT. It's not even slow, but it doesn't have the lift or anything like that. But the swap is actually really easy from all the research I've done. So you literally need a 2ZZ engine, you need a 2ZZ flywheel, because the 1ZZ and 2ZZ flywheel bolt holes don't match up, so that would need to be fixed. You need a 2ZZ ECU. The ECU is stored in here, I believe, and if you have automatic or manual, you want to account for that. And on the older models, the red line is higher and lift kicks in at a different RPM, and so just be aware of that, of how you want to configure that. And then for the engine swap itself, you'll need a few new pulleys. I don't remember which ones specifically. The alternator has a couple more bolts, brackets for like the engine mount. You need, I think it's the bigger downpipe, but it's really not too big of a job. You can pick up probably a pristine engine for about $1,100 to $1,500 for a 2ZZ low mileage. And for all the parts, it's really not too bad. I mean, it's still probably going to cost you $2,000 and some time to pull the engine and swap it and get everything tweaked right. But compared to other engine swaps on other platforms, it's a pretty cheap mod to gain the 40 horsepower. But yeah, let me know if there's any cool mods that actually help performance that maybe I missed that a lot of people do. I really am not going to go too far with this car. It's just going to be my daily. I'd rather just buy a GTS and restart, so that way I don't have to do the engine swap, do all the work, do the rear brake swap to the drum brakes, buy the action package. Like, once I do that to this car, it might just be cheaper to go find maybe a $2,000 to $4,000 GTS and start driving that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.